Right, now you're talking. 1979, a vintage year. Not just for the fact that you could still buy a house for the price of a second-hand Ford Cortina, but for straight gang cinema. You've got The Warriors and you've got The Wanderers. Both came out the same year, both about lads in matching jackets looking for trouble, but they're as different as a prime ribeye and a tin of cold hot dogs. One's a fever dream and the other is a trip down a very greasy memory lane. Now, The Warriors, that is not a film. It's a manual on how to get home when the last bus has been cancelled and everybody in the city wants to kick your head in. It's like a comic book brought to life. You've got gangs dressed as mimes, gangs on roller skates, on the baseball furies, blokes in face paint and pinstripes. If I saw them in the middle of Huddersfield, I wouldn't be scared. I'd ask them if they were lost on the way to a fancy dress party. They just want to get back to Coney Island. I've had nights like that, trying to get from Leeds city centre back to Dewsbury after the trains have stopped, dodging gangs of lads who've had too much lager and think they're Bruce Lee. It's stylised, it's moody, and that Cyrus fella at the start, can you dig it? Brilliant. Though, if he'd have tried that speech in a working men's club, someone would have shouted, "Sit down, you Burke, we're trying to play a bingo." Then you've got The Wanderers. This one, it's a bit closer to home. It's set in the early 60s, and it's more about the camaraderie and the fact that your life's generally a bit rubbish, but you've got your mates. The Baldies. Now, they are terrifying. Not because of supernatural powers, but because they're just big, angry blokes with no hair and a grudge against the world. I've met a few Baldies in my time, usually bouncers at your local disco who don't like the look of your tie. You've got the Ducky Boys. They're the real nightmare. They don't talk, they don't post. They just appear out to fog like a bad omen. They remind me of the spirits I deal with. The quiet ones are always the most troublesome. It's got that soundtrack, Run Around Sue and the like. It makes you nostalgic for a time when gang warfare was settled with a game of football or a scrap in an alleyway, rather than whatever nonsense they do on the internet these ages. If you're asking me, which is better, The Warriors for the thrill, and The Wanderers for the soul. Though, if the Warriors had just stayed on the train and kept their heads down, they'd have been home in 40 minutes. But then, we wouldn't have had a film, would we? Just remember, if you're ever being chased by a gang in a baseball kit, don't run. Just open your umbrella and look them in the eye. They hate it when you aren't impressed by their outfits.